For every beloved YouTuber, there is also one who is hated by nearly everyone. Let's start with one of the most divisive figures of 2018, Logan Paul. The reason I added Logan Paul to the list of most hated YouTubers, especially in 2018, is because of his Japan's tour. Japan, a country known for its deep-rooted traditions, respect, and cultural sensitivity, a place where Logan Paul would go on to film what his audience initially perceived as just another over-the-top travel vlog. However, in reality, it was one of the most disrespectful, tone-deaf, and culturally insensitive videos in YouTube history, a moment that would ignite global outrage and nearly end his career.
He does the complete opposite. He's loud, disrespectful, and obnoxious.
But at that point, Logan didn't seem to care about backlash. For him, everything was about pushing boundaries, about testing limits, about doing whatever it took to get people talking.
The guy who takes things to extremes. That's who I am. That's the brand of Logan Paul.
But pushing boundaries too many times eventually moves them to a place where you've gone too far to come back. And that's exactly what Logan did.
For New Year's, slowing it down, like going somewhere that's really isolated, and instead of going out or partying, kind of like sort of finding myself. And so we're in Tokyo, Japan, right? I figured this was the perfect time to do it, because if you look to my right, Logang, I give you the Aokigahara.
Aokigahara, the infamous suicide forest at the base of Mount Fuji, a place where hundreds have taken their final breaths. But Logan Paul didn't see it that way. On December 31st, 2017, Logan uploaded what would go down as one of the most infamous videos in YouTube history. The video wasn't an awareness piece. It wasn't a serious documentary. It wasn't even a respectful exploration of Aokigahara's tragic history. Instead, Logan filmed the body of a recently deceased person. He zoomed in, he reacted, he made jokes, he turned someone's last moments into a piece of entertainment for his 17 million subscribers. But the most haunting part? He was wearing a neon green Toy Story alien hat, draped in a $7,500 Gucci jacket, and at times trying to suppress laughter.
God damn it.
The backlash was immediate. Within 24 hours, the video had racked up 6.3 million views. Social media exploded, news outlets picked up the story, celebrities, influencers, even Logan's own fanbase turned against him.
One of the worst things I've ever seen uploaded to YouTube before.
Just one story that is so insane and so bad.
Logan Paul knew what he was going to see. He also knew what he was going to capture on film and upload to his YouTube channel.
A YouTuber that has respect for people like this would turn off the camera, go home.
So it seems the main antagonist this season will be this douche noodle wearing the alien hat. His name's Logan Paul. He has thinning blonde hair.
After that, Logan removed the video 2 days later, replacing it with an apology titled, "So Sorry," a 1-minute, heavily edited video where he stared into the camera, reading from a script, delivering what many saw as one of the most insincere apologies in YouTube history.
Lapse in my judgment, and I don't expect to be forgiven. I'm simply here to apologize.
It didn't work. The video received a 70% dislike ratio. The comments were flooded with people calling out his blatant lack of self-awareness. And at that moment, Logan Paul's reputation hit absolute rock bottom. But while Logan Paul was busy being one of the most hated creators of 2018, another creator was experiencing the exact opposite trajectory, James Charles. By 2018, he had skyrocketed to the top of the beauty community, amassing millions of subscribers and becoming one of the most influential figures in makeup. Unlike traditional beauty influencers, who typically gained fame through years of experience in the industry, James broke into the scene as a teenager. He was young, ambitious, and had an undeniable talent for makeup. In 2016, James Charles became the first male ambassador for CoverGirl. It was a historic moment, not just for James, but for the entire beauty industry. At the time, mainstream makeup brands still largely catered to women, and the idea of a male beauty influencer landing a major contract was virtually unheard of. But James changed that. By 2018, James wasn't just working with brands. He was dominating the industry. He collaborated with some of the biggest names in makeup, as an example. One of his most iconic partnerships was with Morphe, where he would go on to release his own eyeshadow palette that would become one of the best-selling beauty products of all time. James also started collaborating with some of the biggest celebrities in the world. In 2018, James filmed a makeup tutorial with Kim Kardashian, where she let him do her makeup, a moment that helped him gain even more mainstream recognition. Another major milestone was his collaboration with Kylie Jenner, where they discussed beauty, business, and the future of makeup. These collaborations set him apart from other beauty influencers. By 2018, James had already gained millions of subscribers, and it seemed like nothing could slow him down. I know there are some things about James Charles that people often bring up: his sexuality, his involvement with the LGBTQ+ community, and even his personal relationships. But here's the thing, those aspects are part of his personal life, and while they may be interesting to some, they don't define his career or his success as a content creator. James has always been open about his identity, and at the end of the day, what really made James famous wasn't his personal life. It was his talent, his work ethic, and his ability to create content that people genuinely enjoyed. And while James Charles was building his beauty empire in 2018, Tana Mongeau was quickly becoming one of the most hated creators on the platform. By 2018, Tana Mongeau had built a reputation as one of YouTube's most chaotic personalities. But that year, her name became almost synonymous with disaster, and it all started with an event that was supposed to be her biggest career move yet. TanaCon, billed as an alternative to VidCon, the event was hyped as a revolutionary, fan-first convention that would put power back into the hands of creators. On paper, it sounded like the perfect plan. A cheaper, more personal experience than VidCon, featuring some of the biggest influencers at the time, like Shane Dawson and Bella Thorne. But what happened next was nothing short of a catastrophe. TanaCon was held at a venue with a maximum capacity of just over 3,000. Yet Tana and her team sold 5,000 tickets, an issue made even worse by reports that nearly 20,000 people had shown up, most of whom were left stranded outside in the scorching California heat, with no water, no food, and no shade. Fans suffered severe sunburns, dehydration, and in some cases, even fainted. But inside wasn't much better. The venue was packed beyond comfort. There were barely any activities. And worst of all, most fans didn't even get to meet the creators they had paid to see. Then, after just a few hours of absolute chaos, the fire marshal shut it all down. Attendees were left furious, feeling scammed and demanding refunds. Tana, however, didn't seem to grasp the scale of the disaster. Her response? Initially, silence. Then, a half-hearted apology, in which she claimed she didn't expect that many people to show up, shifting the blame onto event organizers. This lack of accountability only made things worse. Fans, fellow creators, and even Shane Dawson, who had supported the event, were left questioning how something so mismanaged could have happened. But if TanaCon wasn't enough to fuel public disdain, her short-lived relationship with Jake Paul certainly was. In what many believe to be an orchestrated stunt, Tana and Jake announced their engagement just a few months after they started dating. The internet wasn't buying it. From the beginning, their relationship felt like one giant publicity stunt. Over the top, ridiculous, and obviously fake. Then came the wedding. In true internet clout fashion, they hosted a live-streamed wedding in Las Vegas, charging fans $50 to watch. The ceremony itself? Chaotic. The live stream? A disaster. And just months later, they announced their breakup, further cementing the suspicion that it had all been a carefully planned business move. Between TanaCon and her relationship with Jake Paul, Tana Mongeau had successfully made herself one of the most hated figures of 2018. But while Tana Mongeau's controversies made her a constant target for backlash, Shane Dawson was turning internet drama into must-watch documentaries, making him a fan favorite. By 2018, Shane had already been on YouTube for over a decade, but instead of fading into irrelevance like so many other early creators, he completely reinvented himself. After years of comedy skits and shock humor, Shane shifted toward a more documentary-style approach, diving deep into the lives of controversial YouTubers. His Jake Paul, The Mind of a Sociopath series, was a turning point, racking up tens of millions of views per episode and giving audiences an inside look at one of the most divisive figures on the platform. Then came his Conspiracy Theories series, which only solidified his status as one of YouTube's top creators. Shane presented himself as an investigator, someone who wasn't afraid to ask difficult questions or expose hidden truths. The mix of curiosity, empathy, and storytelling resonated with millions, bringing his viewership to an all-time high. But if you're wondering whether the TanaCon disaster had any impact on Shane Dawson's rise, the answer is yes, just not in the way you'd expect. When Tana Mongeau's convention turned into a complete catastrophe, Leaving thousands of fans stranded in the heat with no event to attend, Shane stepped in. His 3-part investigative series on Tana was the first of its kind, a deep dive into the chaos, exposing what really happened behind the scenes. Now another most hated one is Leafy is here. In 2018, he wasn't just disliked. He was one of the most hated creators on the platform. His name became synonymous with cyberbullying, harassment, and everything YouTube was trying to crack down on. Calvin Lee Vale, better known as Leafy is here, rose to fame in 2015 through his CSGO surfing videos and sharp-tongued commentary. Initially, his content revolved around gaming stereotypes and online experiences, but he soon shifted to roasting individuals, often smaller creators, in a highly exaggerated and mocking style. His videos gained viral traction, and his fanbase, known as the Reptilian Brotherhood, became notorious for spamming and harassing those he targeted. By 2016, Leafy had millions of subscribers, making him one of YouTube's fastest-growing creators. However, his meteoric rise came crashing down after iDubbbz released a content cop video on him in late 2016, exposing his repetitive content and accusations of cyberbullying.
Leafy fan? No. Oh, hell yeah. For you, we've got a microphone. All right. Oh, perfect.
This video, along with backlash from other creators and YouTube tightening its policies, led to a steep decline in Leafy's popularity. His videos lost traction, and by 2017, he stopped posting altogether. His absence from the platform lasted until 2020, when he made an unexpected return with even more controversial takes, often targeting major figures like Pokimane and Ethan Klein. Leafy's comeback was short-lived. YouTube permanently banned his channel in August 2020 for repeated policy violations, particularly harassment, and that's the reason many of you didn't know about him. But the one almost everyone knows is Ryan Trahan. Ryan Trahan's status as one of the most loved creators in 2018 came from more than just his fun and creative content. He was also known as one of the most genuinely nice guys on YouTube. At that time, he was posting truly original content on his channel, drawing in fresh viewers with captivating videos like surviving on Bitcoin for 24 hours, and a variety of other creative concepts that sparked curiosity and excitement. While Ryan had already earned a loyal fanbase in 2018, his Penny Challenge, launched a few years later, only further solidified his reputation as not just a great creator, but an incredibly kind and generous person. This project wasn't just entertaining. It had a powerful mission behind it. Ryan set out with a simple yet ambitious goal: to turn a single penny into enough money to donate 1 million meals to Feeding America, given that $1 could provide 10 or more meals. This meant he needed to raise $100,000, a huge goal for any creator. But with the overwhelming support of his community, Ryan didn't just hit his target, he shattered it, raising over $1 million for the cause. His ability to take something as small as a penny and turn it into a life-changing movement proved why he was one of the most beloved YouTubers. Ryan's story was a reminder that you don't need drama or controversy to grow an audience. You just need authenticity and a passion for doing good. Despite all the praise, Ryan never lets anything get to his head. Something that would make RiceGum the enemy of YouTube in 2018. Some saw him as an entertaining personality. Many viewed him as one of the most hated creators on YouTube at the time. His content revolved around flexing wealth, roasting other YouTubers, and making diss tracks. But his attitude and controversies often overshadowed his success. He was known for his flashy lifestyle, constantly showing off designer clothes, expensive cars, and stacks of cash in his videos, something that many viewers found obnoxious and out of touch. His diss tracks, which were initially fun and engaging, started feeling repetitive and mean-spirited as he frequently targeted smaller creators or people who couldn't fight back. However, the real downfall for RiceGum in 2018 came when he got caught in the mystery box scandal. He promoted a sketchy gambling website called Mystery Brand, encouraging his young audience to spend money on mystery boxes that promised luxury items like iPhones, gaming consoles, and even cars. But when people started exposing how unfair and misleading the system was, the backlash was massive. Instead of taking responsibility, RiceGum made things worse by dismissing criticism and offering gift cards as a weak apology. RiceGum's interactions with other major YouTubers played a key role in shaping his controversial image. In July 2016, PewDiePie mocked RiceGum in a video, prompting RiceGum to announce a diss track in collaboration with KSI, though it was never released. He also clashed with an animation YouTuber, The Odd Ones Out, after making dismissive comments about animation content, which led to backlash from the animation community. However, his most infamous feud was with iDubbbz, who released a content cop video in 2017 that harshly criticized RiceGum's content and behavior. In response, RiceGum dropped his diss track, Frick to Police, attempting to defend himself, but many felt it failed to match the impact of iDubbbz's video. These rivalries, combined with his flashy lifestyle and provocative humor, kept RiceGum at the center of YouTube drama, solidifying his status as one of the most polarizing figures on the platform. Now, the last, and from my point of view, the most loved creator in 2018, PewDiePie, the king of YouTube back then. PewDiePie, aka Felix Kjellberg, had been dominating YouTube for years, and 2018 was no different. But what truly cemented his status that year was the legendary battle against T-Series, an Indian music label that was rapidly closing in on his title as the most subscribed channel. This wasn't just about numbers, it became a full-blown cultural movement. Fans worldwide rallied behind him with sub to PewDiePie, turning the battle into an internet phenomenon. PewDiePie leaned into the hype with comedic videos, fan interactions, and even a diss track, Bitch Lasagna, which became an anthem for his supporters. Beyond the T-Series battle, 2018 was also a year of reinvention for PewDiePie. He moved away from his older, more chaotic style and embraced a mix of meme reviews, reaction content, and gaming that felt more personal. His meme review series became one of the biggest highlights of his channel, featuring guest appearances from major figures, including Tesla CEO Elon Musk. Despite his massive success, PewDiePie remained one of the most relatable creators on the platform. While many YouTubers struggled with scandals or shifting trends, PewDiePie thrived by simply being himself, proving that sometimes staying true to your personality is the key to long-term success.